Fort Walton Beach, Florida. If you've ever been there, it's just gorgeous. Picture perfect.
Absolutely. White sand, that emerald water, looks like paradise.
It really does. The kind of place you dream about escaping to. But, sometimes the most beautiful places hide the darkest secrets.
Uh-huh. Right beneath the surface.
And that's exactly what we're getting into today, a truly complex and honestly chilling story. The story of Marie Carlson.
Yeah, Marie Carlson.
Marie was originally from the Philippines, and she had this real passion for justice, criminal justice.
She even dreamed of joining the FBI, didn't she?
Yeah, she did. Before Florida, she had a life with her ex-husband, Jeff Carlson, and they had a daughter together, Paris.
But Marie was dealing with something really significant.
Mm-hmm.
Bipolar disorder. She was diagnosed, and it wasn't just a label. It really impacted her life, made things very difficult.
Which led to an incredibly tough decision about Paris.
Yeah, just agonizing. She agreed that Jeff, her ex, could offer Paris a more stable home environment. That must have been heart-wrenching. But it really shows how much she loved her daughter, putting Paris's stability first.
It really does. A painful sacrifice, but, commendable.
And it seems like that search for stability, for a fresh start, is what brought her down to Fort Walton Beach.
Right. She got a job working in a coffee shop.
And it was inside a local church, right? Calvary Emerald Coast Church.
Exactly. And that's where she meets Pastor James Flanders and his wife, Tanya.
On the surface, they seemed like pillars of the community. Involved, known for being generous.
The kind of people you'd think would be a safe haven, especially for someone like Marie looking for a new beginning.
They definitely seemed to offer her support initially,
Right.
but that support, well, it twisted into something much darker.
Yeah, it really did. Because Marie moved in with the Flanders, which, again, on the surface, might seem logical. Find community, help.
Within the church structure.
But then, not long after she's living there, she vanishes.
Just gone. And the most disturbing part, she left behind a newborn baby.
That's the immediate giant red flag, isn't it? A new mother disappearing, leaving her baby. It screams that something is terribly wrong.
Absolutely. It goes against every instinct.
Yeah.
And that's what we need to try and piece together today.
We've looked at a lot of material for this, news reports from the time, police documents laying out the investigation.
Social media chatter.
Yeah.
Even parts of the warrant later on. Lots of different pieces.
They all tell parts of this really tangled, disturbing story. So our goal here is to pull out the key facts, the insights from all this material, and try to understand what really happened to Marie Carlson after she entered the world of James and Tanya Flanders.
Because there's so many conflicting stories, so much deception, things just don't line up.
Okay, let's get into it. Marie's connection with the Flanders, living in their actual house, that really starts in October 2009.
She moves into their place on Revere Avenue, Fort Walton Beach.
But it wasn't like she moved in and just stayed there straight through.
No, actually. The sources show she spent some time away. Sometime in 2010, maybe early 2011, she went out to Arizona.
Arizona.
Yeah. And get this, she lived with James's family while she was there.
James's family. Wow. Okay, so the connection wasn't just James and Tanya in Florida. It was deeper than that.
It seems so. Suggests a bond, or at least an involvement, that went beyond just being a member of his church needing help.
Interesting. But she does come back to Fort Walton Beach eventually.
Right. And moves back in with James and Tanya.
And this is where things get, well, really strange. While she was out in Arizona, Marie got pregnant.
And this wasn't exactly a public announcement kind of pregnancy. Especially not living with a pastor, working in the church.
No kidding. It became this huge secret with all these different stories floating around about it.
Absolutely. Depending on who you asked, you heard different things. The first story, the one told more widely, was that Marie had this abusive boyfriend in Arizona. He got her pregnant, then ditched her.
Okay, so that paints her as a victim.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Some of the Flanders were helping out of the goodness of their hearts. They were even going to adopt the baby. It fit that church charity narrative.
Right, the benevolent pastor and his wife.
Right.
Makes sense as a cover. But that wasn't the only story.
Not at all. Behind the scenes, Tanya was telling her close friends something completely different. Something they were sworn to secrecy about.
Which was?
That Marie wasn't just some woman they were helping. She was acting as a surrogate for them.
A surrogate? Why?
The story Tanya told was heartbreaking, that she and James had struggled with infertility for years, had multiple miscarriages, and were desperate for a child.
Wow. Okay, that's a very different picture.
Totally different. And even within that surrogacy story, the details about how it happened, they changed.
How so?
Well, some friends were first told it was, home insemination, maybe to explain James being the father but keep the surrogacy angle.
Like the turkey baster method you sometimes hear about, trying to make it sound less
Yeah,
complicated.
possibly. Or maybe trying to make it sound cheaper than IVF. That was mentioned too.
But that story changed too.
Yeah. Later, Tanya apparently told these same close friends it happened the old-fashioned way. In later investigation, James himself admitted that was the truth. James Flanders, the pastor, was the biological father.
Okay, that changes everything. The whole dynamic in that house.
Completely. And it explains the intense secrecy, right?
Yeah.
Especially from the main church congregation.
Yeah, you can't have the pastor fathering a child with another woman living in his house. That's a career-ending scandal right there.
Definitely. It would jeopardize everything for him, for the church.
And there was supposedly some kind of arrangement about the baby, too, after the birth.
Yeah, sources mentioned this alleged plan where Marie would essentially gift the baby to James and Tanya.
Gift the baby.
That's the term used in some accounts. One version was really specific. Marie would stay for 3 months just to nurse the baby, and then she'd leave permanently.
And the Flanders presented this as something Marie wanted, like she was doing them this huge favor.
Exactly. Framing her as this altruistic person, helping them achieve their dream, repaying them for taking her in.
So much deception. It's hard to keep track of.
It really is. And all this secrecy and complexity was leading up to the birth. Baby Grace was born October 19th, 2011.
October 19th. Got it.
And there are these photos. They're pretty surreal now, knowing what happened. Pictures from a baby shower, seemingly for Tanya.
For Tanya, even though Marie was pregnant.
Yeah, the pictures show Marie and Tanya together, looking happy.
Ah.
Tanya even has a balloon under her shirt in one, like she's playing pregnant.
That is incredibly jarring, especially knowing Marie disappeared just days later.
Right. It just shows the level of performance they were maintaining, the sheer audacity of the secrecy.
Makes you really wonder what was going on behind those smiles. So Grace is born October 19th, but according to James Flanders, things changed with Marie immediately after.
That's his story, the one he gave investigators later. He claimed Marie just plummeted after the birth, became withdrawn, depressed, wasn't taking her bipolar meds.
So he's painting her as unstable.
Very unstable.
Hmm.
To the point where he said he was worried she might hurt herself or even take off with the baby.
Okay, so he's laying the groundwork for her disappearance.
It seems that way. Now, his timeline gets very specific. He claimed the last time he saw Marie alive was October 17th, 2011.
October 17th. Wait, that's 2 days before you said Grace was born?
Exactly. October 17th is the day he claims she vanished. October 19th is the day Grace was born, and the day that weird text message was sent from Marie's phone. The dates are crucial here.
Okay, so his story for the 17th. What did he say happened?
He claimed he was so worried about her state of mind, he actually stayed home from work that day.
Okay.
Said Marie woke up in a terrible mood, and he's afraid she'd just bolt with the baby.
Uh-huh.
Then, later that day, he says Tanya took baby Grace and went shopping in Destin, supposedly to give Marie some peace and quiet.
Right.
Marie took a nap. James claimed he waited till she woke up. They talked briefly, then he went out for a run.
And when he came back,
According to James, Marie was gone. Her white Mazda truck was gone too.
just vanished while he was on a run.
That's his claim. He also said he and Tanya found a bag Marie had packed, some clothes and things, but she hadn't taken it with her.
Which he probably used as proof. She left suddenly. Right, like she was erratic.
Exactly, bolstering his story that she just walked out on everything.
Okay, so that's his account of the 17th. Then 2 days later, on the 19th, the day Grace is born, this text message goes out from Marie's phone.
Yeah, sent to several people who knew her. It basically said she had left to do something she'd always wanted to do.
Super vague.
Totally vague. No details. Where was she? What was she doing? Nothing. And everyone who got it just felt uneasy. It sounded creepy, not like Marie at all.
Especially leaving a newborn baby. And her older daughter, Paris.
Exactly. That was a huge thing for her family. Her sister, Esta, her ex-husband, Jeff, they were immediately worried, deeply concerned.
Because this wasn't her pattern.
Not even close. Jeff said, yeah, maybe she'd take off for a day or two sometimes to clear her head, but she never went silent. And she would never, ever leave without talking to Paris. That was unthinkable.
So Jeff's gut feeling was that something was seriously wrong.
Absolutely. And he acted on it. He's the one who officially reported Marie missing.
When was that?
October 24th, 2011. So about a week after James claimed she disappeared.
Did the police take it seriously right away? She was an adult.
Jack actually mentioned being a bit surprised They did seem to take it seriously. He stressed to them, though, this wasn't like her other times away. This silence, leaving Paris, that weird text, it was different. Something was very wrong.
And the police started looking into it. What did they find initially?
Well, their findings pretty quickly backed up Jeff's concerns and started poking holes in James's story.
How so?
They were skeptical right off the bat that she just left. Why? Because her important stuff was still at the house. Money, belongings.
Things you'd definitely take if you were starting a new life.
Exactly. And the other huge red flag, James Flanders never reported her missing.
The guy who claimed he was so worried about her he stayed home from work, he never called the police?
Never. Which is, extremely weird if you're genuinely concerned about someone.
Massively suspicious. Okay, what about her truck? The white Mazda.
Ah, the truck. That's another strange part of James and Tanya's story. They claim they found it.
They found it where?
On October 21st, so 4 days after James says she left, they claimed they found it parked in long-term parking at the local airport, Northwest Florida Regional.
Okay, and why did they say they moved it?
Their explanation was they drove it home to save Marie money on the parking fees.
How convenient.
Right. And they even gave the detectives the parking receipt as proof.
Big mistake.
Huge mistake. Because that little piece of paper completely blew up James's timeline.
What did it show?
The receipt showed the truck entered the airport parking lot on October 18th, 2011.
The 18th. But James said she left on the 17th.
Precisely. The truck showed up at the airport a full day after James claimed Marie had driven off in it and vanished. It just didn't compute with his story.
So somebody else parked that truck after she was supposedly gone.
That's what it strongly suggested. Her police confirmed Marie didn't leave from that airport. No flight records, no rental cars in her name, no record of her leaving the U.S.
Her truck was there, but she wasn't. It looks staged.
Exactly. Like someone wanted it to look like she'd flown away.
Did they get any camera footage, fingerprints, anything to show who parked it?
Unfortunately, no. That was a frustrating dead end. The security cameras covering that part of the lot weren't working during that critical time.
Of course not.
And they tried to get prints off the ticket machine, but no luck there either. So they had the damning receipt, but not yet proof of who did it.
But then came the cell phones. That's often the key these days, isn't it?
It really is. Digital breadcrumbs. The detectives pulled the phone records for Marie, James, and Tanya. And that data, well, it told a very different story.
What did Marie's phone show?
Her phone never left the Fort Walton Beach area after October 17th. It stayed local.
Okay, so she didn't travel far. What about James's phone?
This is where it gets really bad for him. James's phone pinged off the exact same cell towers as Marie's phone on October 18th and even into the 19th.
Wait, days after he claimed she was gone, their phones were together.
Yes, their phones were in the same vicinity, which directly contradicts his story that she'd packed up and left on the 17th. He couldn't have been with her phone if she was gone.
Wow. That's huge. What about the airport?
Even worse for his story. Remember, he claimed they found the truck on the 21st?
Yeah.
His phone pinged off the cell tower right by the airport. Just minutes after that parking receipt showed Marie's truck entered the lot on the 18th.
So he was at the airport when the truck was parked there, the day after he said she left.
Exactly. It completely destroyed his timeline and his claim about finding the truck days later. He was there when it happened.
Unbelievable. Any other phone location hits?
Yes. Remember that date? October 17th, the day he said she left. An officer had actually seen Marie's truck abandoned earlier that day.
Oh, abandoned? Where?
At a Chevron gas station in Fort Walton Beach.
Okay.
James's phone data put him near that same gas station about an hour after the time he claimed Marie had driven off in the truck and left the house.
So he was near the truck after she supposedly took it? It makes no sense with his story.
None at all. So detectives started piecing together a new theory based on this solid data.
What was the theory?
They suspected James killed Marie on or around the 17th. Then, maybe he panicked and ditched her truck at the Chevron. Maybe hoping it looked like she ran off, or maybe hoping it'd get stolen.
Right, create confusion.
But when that didn't happen, or whatever his reason, he then went back, got the truck, and drove it to the airport on the 18th.
To stage the scene, make it look like she flew away voluntarily.
Exactly. And every step of that theory was backed up by the phone data, the receipt, the officer sighting. It completely dismantled James's entire narrative.
Okay, so the evidence against James is mounting significantly. What about Tanya? What does she tell investigators?
Her interview was explosive. She confirmed the baby, Grace, was conceived the old-fashioned way.
So she admitted James was the father.
Yes. And she added this bizarre detail. She claimed she was actually in the room when it happened. Said they'd been drinking sake, James and Marie.
She was in the room. Okay, that's incredibly strange.
It gets stranger. She then dropped the real bombshell. She told detectives Marie wasn't just a surrogate. Marie was their sister wife.
Sister wife, like a polyamorous relationship. James, Tanya, and Marie.
That's what Tanya claimed. A secret throuple.
Yeah.
Completely hidden from their conservative church congregation.
Wow. Okay, that explains the secrecy, but it adds a whole new layer of complexity and potential motive. This wasn't just helping someone out.
Not at all. It was a deep, intimate, secret relationship. And Tanya claimed that while Marie was okay with it at first, including the plan to give them the baby, her feelings changed after Grace was born. According to Tanya, Marie started wanting James and the baby all to herself, trying to push Tanya out.
Ah, so jealousy, a powerful motive for Tanya, potentially.
Absolutely. If Marie was threatening Tanya's position in the relationship, threatening to take her husband and the baby they'd planned for, yes, that's a strong motive.
Which makes another detail even more disturbing, something a church member told police.
Yeah, this is really chilling. A church member reported that Tanya had allegedly said at some point that James couldn't kill Marie, but she could.
She said she could kill Marie, knowing Marie then disappeared. That's incredibly damning sounding, even if it's hearsay.
It definitely paints a very dark picture of the dynamics and potential resentment there. Though it's important to note, Tanya was never charged in relation to the murder itself.
Still, that alleged comment hangs heavy in the air. Did other church members talk?
It was tough.
Yeah.
Many were hesitant, seemed scared, or maybe just loyal. But the youth pastor, Jason Anderson, did share something significant.
What was that?
He said James had approached another church member asking for help to leave the country. James apparently said things were bad, seemed really distressed, possibly suicidal.
Trying to flee the country.
That's what Anderson reported. And this behavior actually led to James being admitted for a psychiatric hold, a 10-day hold starting October 31st, 2011.
Just weeks after Marie vanished. Wow. His behavior was clearly erratic.
Definitely added to the suspicion. So by early 2012, you have this pile of circumstantial evidence. The phone data proving James lied, the truck staging, the secret relationship, Tanya's alleged comment, James's own behavior.
It all points to foul play, involving James at least, maybe Tanya too, but they were still missing the key piece.
Marie's body. Without that, a murder conviction is always harder.
And James and Tanya knew the police were closing in.
It seems so, because on January 28th, 2012, right when detectives were gearing up to question them again, they vanished.
Vanish? Where did they go?
Loaded up a rental truck in the dead of night, took baby Grace, and fled back to Arizona.
Just bolted. The timing is incredibly suspicious, right before more questioning.
Extremely suspicious. Looks exactly like fleeing from the investigation.
While all this was happening, someone managed to get Marie's things.
Yes, a friend of Marie's named Kay. Someone who'd known Marie since she was young had even taken her in back then. Kay got some of Marie's belongings from the Flanders before they took off.
Including her laptop.
And Kay, sensing its importance, gave it straight to the police.
Did it have anything useful?
Not initially. It had been wiped clean. Forensics at the time could only pull out, like, garbled data, nothing usable.
Yeah, another dead end.
Yeah. So with the main suspects gone, nobody, the laptop wiped, the case went cold. For years.
And during that time, James did something pretty awful legally, didn't he?
He did. In 2013, while Marie was still missing, he filed for and got termination of Marie's parental rights to baby Grace.
He legally cut her off from her own daughter while he was the prime suspect in her disappearance.
Yes, just heartbreaking for Marie's family.
Unbelievable. So the case is cold for years. What brought it back?
Around 2015, things started moving again. The case got national attention, featured on that show, Cold Justice.
Yeah, sometimes that publicity helps shake things loose.
It can. But even more importantly, technology had moved on significantly since 2011-2012.
Forensic tech. For the laptop.
Exactly. The improved capabilities meant they could now decrypt that wiped laptop drive.
And what did they find this time?
Hundreds of messages. Sexual texts, pornographic texts between Marie and James.
Hundreds. So, solid proof of that deep, intimate relationship Tanya mentioned.
Undeniable proof. This wasn't some brief arrangement. It was intense, ongoing, and crucially, that constant stream of messages stopped cold on October 17th, 2011.
The day he claims she left, the digital silence speaks volumes.
It really does. Another strong indicator something catastrophic happened to her on that day involving him.
And then there was that video that surfaced. The sermon.
Oh, yeah. That was deeply unsettling. A YouTube video of James preaching about a month before Marie disappeared.
And what did he say?
He talked about wanting to choke the life out of anyone who backstabs him or talks about him behind his back.
Choke the life out of them. A pastor said that.
He did. And sources mentioned his demeanor, this weird laugh he does after saying it.
Mm.
It's chilling to watch, knowing what happened next.
Especially if you think Marie wanting James and the baby could be seen by him as backstabbing.
Exactly. It doesn't prove he did it, of course, but it gives you this disturbing insight into his potential mindset, his anger when feeling betrayed. It adds this psychological weight to the case.
So by 2015, they finally had enough. The phone data, the truck, the texts, the sermon, him fleeing.
It was a strong circumstantial case, enough for an arrest warrant.
James Ty Flanders was arrested May 5th, 2015, charged with second-degree murder.
But they still didn't have her body, and that remained the biggest hurdle for the prosecution.
Right. A jury might hesitate without that absolute proof. James's lawyers probably knew that.
They reportedly felt pretty confident they could get him acquitted on the murder charge because there was no body, which put Marie's family in an impossible position.
What did they want most? Justice or finding Marie?
Finding Marie, bringing her home, giving her a proper burial, getting that closure. That became the priority. The prosecutors needed the body for a stronger case. The family needed her found.
So a plea deal.
Yeah. A really tough one. Jens agreed to plead guilty to manslaughter, max 15 years, if he confessed and critically told them where Marie's body was.
Manslaughter instead of murder, but they'd finally know where she was.
That was the trade-off. The family agreed. Bringing Marie home mattered most.
So James took the deal.
He did. In April 2016, he pleaded guilty to manslaughter. And then he led investigators to her body.
Where was she?
Buried. In the side yard of the house on Revere Avenue, the house where she lived with him and Tanya, where she'd hoped for a fresh start.
She was there the whole time, in the yard.
The entire time. Investigators had searched the yard back in 2012 with dogs, radar, but miss her.
How?
Maybe buried too deep. Maybe they just didn't dig in that exact spot. Whatever the reason, she was right there. It's just horrifying to think about.
Finding her there, April 28th, 2016, then they had to identify her.
Positive ID through dental records came back on May 5th, 2016, exactly 1 year after his arrest.
Did James show any remorse?
Reports say he fell to his knees and cried at the scene, but people there described it as performative, like crocodile tears, not genuine grief.
And what story did he give for how she died, now that he confessed to manslaughter?
He gave conflicting accounts, actually, which is suspicious in itself.
How so?
To investigators, he claimed they argued about her needing to go to the hospital for depression. He gave her a bear hug. They fell. She just stopped breathing. An accident, basically.
A bear hug.
But then he told a psychiatrist something different. He said he put her in a chokehold.
A chokehold is not a bear hug. That sounds intentional.
Exactly. A chokehold implies strangulation, not an accidental fall. The stories don't match, and neither sounds truly accidental. It points towards deliberate violence.
So he pleads guilty to manslaughter, leads them to the body. What sentence did he get?
July 2016, he got the maximum for manslaughter under the plea deal, 15 years.
15 years for taking her life.
Yeah, a lot of people felt that was way too lenient, but it was the price for finding Marie. He's currently in prison in Florida at Madison Correctional.
When might he get out?
The dates vary a bit in reports. Could be 2024. Maybe closer to 2028 or 2029, depending on gain time and credits.
And Tanya, what happened with her legally?
Nothing directly related to the murder. Despite the suspicions, the alleged comment, her fleeing with James, investigators felt there wasn't enough concrete evidence to charge her.
Which leaves baby Grace in a terrible situation.
Truly heartbreaking. Tanya is raising Grace, with help from James's family, out in Arizona.
Marie's family tried to get custody.
Her sister petitioned for guardianship, yeah, but wasn't successful. So Grace is being raised by the family of the man who killed her mother.
That's just devastating. Do Marie's family get to see her?
There is some contact, apparently. Phone calls, some visits, but it's obviously a tragic outcome, so far removed from what Marie would have wanted for her daughter. Separated from her older sister, Paris, too.
Just awful. A terrible legacy from all those secrets and lies.
It really is.
Yeah.
And the fact that Tanya faced no charges related to the death itself leaves a lot of unanswered questions for people who followed this case. What does she really know? How involved was she?
So when you step back and look at this whole story, based on everything we've gone through, it's just layer upon layer of darkness.
Yeah. You've got this hidden polyamorous life mapped by religion and respectability.
The bizarre circumstances around the pregnancy, the conflicting stories, the surrogacy claim, the sister-wife reality.
Then the sudden disappearance, the stage truck, the lies that just fell apart under scrutiny.
And technology playing such a huge role. The cell phone pings, the decrypted laptop texts. They were crucial in exposing the truth James tried so hard to hide.
Absolutely critical.
Yeah.
Without that digital evidence, this might still be a cold case.
And finally, that agonizing plea deal, trading a longer sentence for the certainty of bringing Marie home.
It highlights the painful choices families face in these situations. What does justice mean when your loved one is still missing?
It's a stark reminder of how complicated people are, how secrets can fester and lead to violence, and how vulnerable someone seeking help can be.
Marie went there looking for stability, for support, and found herself trapped in this web of deception and control.
It also really underscores how important it is to trust your gut. Jeff Carlson knew something was wrong. He pushed.
That family instinct, refusing to accept the easy explanation, it was vital here. Even when someone has a history of leaving briefly, this felt different, and they were right.
Yeah, it shows how easily someone can be silenced, hidden, especially by those closest to them. You really have to question what you see on the surface.
So when you think about this whole case, what's the thing that really sticks with you? Is it the betrayal, the technology, the family's ordeal?
For me, it might be the sheer depth of the deception within that house, the ability to maintain that facade for so long. What about for you listening? What stands out?
Maybe the chilling nature of that sermon video, or just the tragedy of Grace's situation now. It leaves you with so many thoughts. How much did Tanya really know? What other secrets were kept in that house?
It really does. If this story gripped you, please hit that like button and share your thoughts in the comments below. We do read them. And definitely subscribe to the channel so you catch our next exploration into these complex cases.
You can also follow us over on Spotify, if you prefer to listen that way.
Marie Carlson went to Florida searching for a new beginning, for some peace. Instead, she got tangled in a secret life that cost her everything.
Her story is a tragic reminder, leaving us to wonder about the full truth, the secrets still held by those involved. What else remains buried, not in the ground this time, but in their memories?
A chilling question to end on. What really happened behind closed doors on Revere Avenue? We might never know the entire story.